You're tuning in to Past Our Prime, a show powered by Squad Locker.
Let's be great. Let's be great.
Here are your hosts, retired Astros minor league star Tip Fairchild and former Patriots All-Pro center Dan Kope.
Go rock this thing, huh? Love you, man. Let's go get it.
All right, here we go. Let's go. Episode 56. You're ready to go today.
We got a football frenzy today.
We got
a football frenzy today.
We got Patriots Hall of Famer, good friend of mine. I like throwing that in there.
Yeah, lead this along.
This is a good friend of mine.
Yeah,
Patriots Hall of Famer, 3 Super Bowls.
I would say like
All-Pro,
a darling.
probably Pro Bowls, the one of the ultimate Patriots.
Yeah,
Let's
a
just
darling to Pat's nation, right? Like
staple.
We heard about people's cats and dogs being named after him. We know that.
Yeah, that's true.
The only jersey that my wife wears is the Bruschi jersey. Oh, I dropped his name.
Yeah. What's going on? So Tedy will be joined to us. Welcome to the show. As always, powered by Squad Locker. Mm-hmm. We had super. They put the word super in front of Wild Card Weekend.
Yeah.
And we'll probably get to the Pat stuff. They sucked. It was brutal. I actually watched the whole game.
The games weren't exciting either.
There was not, except for Cincinnati and Vegas.
Yeah,
that game was worth watching.
Yep.
And the officials came into it a little bit. I don't think it would have affected the outcome of the game, but I have a problem with officials
in general.
in my life. Just to hear
we'll ask Bruschi about that. We'll see what's the impact then to now, right? Like it's huge. I feel like there's flags all the time. They like to make a show. The officials now.
It's just too nitpicky right now,
yeah,
and
I think ticky tack. It's a good way to look at it, right?
Ticky tack, and I mean, the overemphasis on protecting the quarterback, and I guess you get how they have to do it. They are the face of the teams, they're the face of the NFL, but if you tap them on their head with your pinky, they're going to throw a flag. Mm-hmm. Like quarterbacks move, they're trying to not get hit, right? So when they move and you're jumping, sometimes you inadvertently hit the quarterback in the head.
That was a tough penalty.
It's just
what game was that in?
Stupid. I think it was in the.
It was literally like a pass.
Was it Judon?
Yeah, it was like he was swiping to knock the pass down and just tapped him on the helmet.
They've gone the whole other way on a lot of nitpicky calls where I guess the safety is important. I get it, but they've gone way too far.
Yeah,
way too far. So Joe Burrow was falling out of bounds, right?
I love Joe Burrow too.
Jamar Chase, you can't cover that man. He is so good,
especially with Joe Burrow throwing.
And they've been playing together for 7 years with college, so they know they have a relationship.
So I'm actually surprised it doesn't happen.
But let's go. Joe Burrow was falling out of bounds, not out of bounds yet. You could definitely tell he's going to throw it.
Oh yeah, he was letting it go.
The referee, you can see, is putting his whistle to his mouth before he's out of bounds
to protect him,
protect him.
Right.
But the play's still going on.
Oh yeah.
That's probably day one of an officiating thing. They hold the whistle now on turnovers, right?
Yep.
And then we can go back because turnovers are reviewable. Mm-hmm. So let the play out, and then we can always go back and look at the video and decide if it was right or wrong. But on this play,
officials are funny.
Going out of bounds.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow throws the ball. There is definitely a whistle in between him releasing the ball and the receiver, Boyd, I believe it was, catching the ball in the end zone.
Mm-hmm. I don't think it affected the play, by the way.
It didn't affect the play.
It looked bad because everybody stopped.
But the fact that they got together for 5 minutes and talked about it, and then just basically ignored the fact that the guy blew the whistle and gave him a touchdown. Yep. It was a touchdown, but if you go to the rules, you have to redo the down because it's an inadvertent whistle.
That crew chief isn't in the playoffs anymore.
Yeah, shocking.
Yeah.
Bugger, Jerome Booger, I think.
Bogger?
B-O-O-G, Booger?
No,
was it Booger?
Jerome
Booger.
Yeah. He's not reffing anymore.
Well, he should. I mean, it's just the fact that it's pretty clear in the rules if there's an inadvertent whistle. If it's during the play and not after the play, you redo the down. So it's not that hard to come together if you're going to talk for 5 minutes. One of them should know what the hell to do in that situation.
I always laugh with
Again, it was in the first half, I think, so it didn't really matter, and it was
a touchdown score.
It was a touchdown. So if you play it out to the end of the game, obviously some things probably would change in the game off of that. But if you take the 3 points out, the Raiders still need a touchdown in the end to score. But touchdown wins them the game.
Are you a Raiders fan because of the family? Do you like to root for them?
I root for them. I hope they do well.
Yeah.
You know, because of the family, because of the father-in-law.
Yeah.
I think that's
just checking.
That's probably.
I like the colorway. They've got a nice color.
They got some bad.
Silver, black, white. That's nice.
You like their outfits?
I love their outfits, yes.
But other than that game, I think every one of them sucked.
Oh, they're boring. The Cardinals look terrible. The Rams look pretty good. The Pats look terrible. We're going to cover that one a lot more with our guest. What was the other game? What was the Cowboys?
That was actually fun. And it wasn't even a great game because the 49ers just stomped. I know you're either a diehard or you're not, but when Dallas loses,
people go crazy.
It actually made the Patriots losing that, it made it sort of okay, it doesn't matter because the Cowboys just got smoked.
I would say the Cowboys, I think this is an accurate statement. I live in New England, most of my friends, a lot of them are Patriots fans, right? I would say the number 2 team, though, is probably the Cowboys. You get a lot of people in New England that are Cowboys fans still.
Well, America's
team, right?
I think you got
so
a lot
you see
of
the
people
Facebook feeds where they go silent and or they say something.
They're diehard fans.
Yeah, they're diehard. That's true. What else? We missed a game.
Tampa.
Oh,
Philly.
Our boy.
And that was not a game and
surgical.
I mean, just him winning another game in the playoffs and the Pats making it this year was a good thing.
He's matched.
That is good.
I saw some crazy stat.
It's not a good look for the Patriots organization when you let the best player in football history go.
Who's
to another
still
team.
Probably the best player in football history now.
He's probably going to win the MVP.
Yeah.
And he's still continuing in the playoffs, and you're not.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bad look. That's a bad look. And then you go out and spend all that money in free agents. That's a bad look.
It does hurt.
It's going to hurt.
I know.
We'll get into it.
What else was there? So there was one other game, though. What am I missing here, Dan? Oh, I guess it's the Pats. We're going to talk about the Pats. But the Titans game. They didn't even play.
Titans had a bye.
Okay,
Green Bay
Titans
had a
didn't
bye.
play. Green Bay had a bye. Okay,
Rams,
so we covered.
Now let's just do, we're going to do a $100 bet here.
Okay, $100
4 games,
bet.
four
I'm
divisional
still down
rounds.
100, right?
Correct.
I'm down 100 right now.
Down 100.
Okay.
We're going to do 4 divisional games.
We're going to
just a spread, and that's the spread right now.
Okay.
So we got Bengals, Titans, Tennessee minus 3.5. Mm-hmm. You go first, and then I'll go to the next game first.
Bengals all day.
Bengals, I'll take the Titans.
Okay.
That's good.
Go ahead.
Tampa, L.A. Rams, Tampa minus 3.
I'm taking Tampa on that one.
I knew you were going to take Tampa.
Yeah, I have
I'm not going against Brady.
I can't. I never will. I never can. It's the one that keeps coming back.
They did meet earlier in the season.
Yeah, Rams
in
won.
L.A. Rams smoked them.
Yeah, that's right. No, I'm taking Tampa.
I'll take Tampa as well.
Yeah. Okay.
All
right. What do we got now?
49ers, Packers. Historic rivalry.
Yeah.
Green Bay minus 5.5.
Is it me this time?
No,
Are you taking Green Bay minus 5.5?
Well, I was going to take Tampa first. I was going to do that. You sort of jumped in and just said I'm taking Tampa.
What are you going to do in this game?
I'm going to take 49ers.
Okay, I'm taking Green Bay.
Okay.
Good. All right, so we get some difference.
I like it.
Good.
Chiefs, Bills, KC minus 2.5. You're first.
I think the Bills are going to win the Super Bowl. Yeah.
I'm going to take the Bills as well.
Okay. So we didn't talk about this.
I don't know if you can get a good judge of how good this team is based on the team that they played last time.
I know. I get that, but also though, if as close as you can, and we everybody knows the dynamic. Dan's a football guy. I'm a baseball guy. A perfect game in baseball, right? By a pitcher is 27 up, 27 down, no hits, no runs, no walks, the whole thing, right? That was a perfect game by Buffalo.
1,000%.
The only time they didn't score on a drive was when they took the victory formation knee. Are you serious?
Before they second half of the game, I was not really paying attention. I actually just wanted to go on Twitter and just see what people were saying. Yeah. Tony Maserati from 98.5 Felger, Mass.
Yeah.
Put out a tweet in the second half, which was I was almost like laughing out loud while my wife was sleeping. Maybe the Pats will make them punt next year. because they haven't punted in the last 2 games. 8 quarters.
Wow.
They have not punted against the Patriots.
I mean,
that's hard to do.
Josh Allen looked so good in that game. Like he did. He was throwing absolute BBs, and when he needed to, he ran. Like that's a real deal quarterback right there, folks.
I'm a Josh Allen fan.
Me too.
After he has a cannon.
Yeah, there's a crop of quarterbacks.
Even Max, like when you said, "Hey, put something out on the post on the Pats game."
Yeah.
That was good, Max. He came back. He was like, "What? The Pats are playing?"
Yeah, I know. But
they have a game.
Did you like how I cut that text first when I sent it out?
Yeah,
I knew you were going to do that too.
You followed up on that message so fast, and I was like, "Oh no!" And then so I like slid it down perfectly and took a screenshot. Yeah. So
wow, I was in such a bad mood. When
all right,
you texted
so
me
those
that.
are our bets.
We've got 2 different ones or 3? No, 2. We got Bills.
Yeah.
We both have Bills.
Both have Bills. Both
We
have Bucks. And then
I've got the Titans and I've got the 49ers.
Yep. Okay.
49ers are playing.
All right. I'm gonna catch.
The only
back
thing
up
that's
here.
going to hurt the 49ers, I think, is Garoppolo.
Yeah, game manager.
But
game manager.
that defense, that defense is nasty, and they are a power football team.
I feel bad
They can
that
run.
Max.
It's a good matchup for them.
Max put all these topics and notes up here, but this is strictly a football podcast today.
Strictly.
He's got 14 tabs on the Olympics. He's got Djokovic, right? Djokovic.
Poor guy.
Yeah. Can't get into the country, right?
Oh, he got in.
He got in.
Couldn't play.
Got revoked. Got it appealed.
Essentially,
and now he's
social
out
media
now.
canceled him.
Oh, he
from
got
playing.
social media canceled. That's tough.
That's a
Well,
problem.
there's no such thing as bad press. That's what they say.
Yeah, I mean, it's good for him, I think.
Okay.
You're probably right on that. All right, let's
So
get the brew.
We're going to brew. What are we calling him? Do I call him Mr. Bruschi?
Why don't you can talk to him first? How
No,
about that?
you're talking to him
You
first.
can go Mr. Bruschi first.
I might call him Tedy Bruschi, his full name, number 54.
Okay.
This is a nerve-wracking one for me.
I'm excited. I'm gonna, I said to you earlier.
I don't get
when I
nervous,
bring
but-
on some people, it kind of feels weird for me to ask them questions and interview them. So I might let you sort of take the reins on this.
No. You're taking the reins on this. I like to bring my friends on here because most people don't know them, and it's just a bullshit conversation. People love it.
I've got some good stories that I want you to tell.
Yes, exactly.
I'm gonna lead you in that direction. So we'll have some fun with Teddy.
Okay.
Do you want to introduce
No,
him?
you do the
you
intro.
can introduce him. I mean, it's a Pats legend.
I know. I
This
wanted
is
you to do the intro on this. I mean,
Patriots Hall of Famer.
yeah, if you don't recognize this guy, you haven't watched football in New England.
And we're just talking. You're going to go out for ESPN. You're phenomenal on ESPN, by the way. I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass because you're my friend. Like, you see some of the other people there, and I'm not going to ask you to name who sucks. Let's go down that road. But there are some people that suck.
And traditionally, that's the case. There's people that are better than others, but it feels like you do a lot of studying. I think this would be my first question.
This is great. You're leading it right now. This is exactly what I wanted.
Like, do you have to really dial in and do a lot of studying on teams, or is this something that just like you can pick up on it quick? Right? You're like, I know what's going on here.
I pride myself on it pretty hard. That I think it was good for me to start at ESPN, and I sort of worked my way up because I didn't get on the main Sunday show until my 11th year. And I was on NFL Live a bunch, and I was on with Schlereth and Wingo.
Trey Ringo.
Yeah.
Trey Wingo, yeah.
I'm going to send this to him.
And Darren Woodson helped me out a lot, but I do watch a lot. I watch a lot and I listen a lot, what I really like to do is listen to like the coaches during the week and what they say and the players, because they'll tell you what, sometimes the good ones will tell you what they really thought like a player did, or like this moment in the game. And I'm like, dude, I got to rewatch that and see how important it was. So I do a lot of sort of side door studying with different sort of ways of finding things out, but definitely watching the games as much as I can too.
And is it the telecast though, or are you actually like watching tape like back when you were playing? Is it like getting in a film room and like watching like the tape, or is it just saying, hey, I'm gonna tune into the broadcast today?
like if I want to watch some AJ Terrell, or some like a cornerback from Atlanta who's really good, and or some JC Jackson or something like that, right? I got to get on to some type of film where I see the whole field, and that's not the telecast. But mainly like everyone else, I'm watching on Thursdays. Now it's Saturdays, Sundays, Mondays, the telecast and what I can see, because like I watch it. And that's the TV copy that I know I can use. And it's like, ooh, I just saw something right there. If I just strictly do the all 22, sometimes I've found that like I see this play that I want to use, but they didn't catch it on TV. So I can't show, Micah Hyde or Jordan Poyer doing the safeties from Buffalo, doing a little the switch off and like disguising coverages because it's too tight from CBS. So I mix it up pretty good.
Do you think you had the perfect position for TV? Like you were transitioning from the NFL to ESPN. I mean, you were a media darling. Let's not get around it. You enjoyed talking to the media.
Well, he's got the look. He's got the look.
You did a good job at it. So you positioned yourself for that career afterwards by giving great interviews. You were like always the number one interviewer for the Patriots. But from a position breakdown standpoint, I think linebacker is a great analyst, jump to. Like the quarterback. He knows all the line stuff. He knows all the receiver. Plus, he knows all the defense. As a linebacker, you know all the defense, but you know all the offensive schemes too.
I guess I've never heard it put that way. That's a great point, Kope, because, we're involved with the front seven, and then we're involved with the secondary. I had an offensive lineman, defensive end background in college and in high school. So I really knew a lot of the entire concept of defensive football. And then I guess good defensive players end up studying offense a lot.
Yeah.
And so having another quarterback in a run game. But yeah, that's a great point, man. I mean, playing linebacker really helped me out a lot to have to know, everywhere. I mean, I've some of the best analysts I've worked with have been offensive linemen too.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, you little handsome.
Yeah,
we're just not as good looking.
No, they just don't know how to speak or wear a suit. So they're tough to put on TV.
Sometimes we mumble.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm telling you, sometimes guys don't like it either. I remember when Light.
That was amazing. That was amazing.
Dude, he was at ESPN doing a great job, and he just was like, Tedy, man, they want me to do this, they want me to do that. And he told me the story of his last day when he walked out of here. He said, that's it. And he threw his suit in the dumpster on the way out.
I think he went down 5 times. I swear to God, I think he said he went down 5 times. He'd signed a year contract or whatever, and Light was another guy that if you put a camera on him, how good of a storyteller, how good is he in front of the camera? He's phenomenal.
I know.
But he's so stubborn. He's stubborn. He wants to talk whatever he wants to talk about, that's the only thing he wants to talk about, and he won't take another side.
I know. And they're like, all they want are Tom Brady stories. This is bullshit, man. Get out of here.
Why the hell do you think they hired you?
Yeah, exactly.
What about that transition coming in with Parcells? Like you said, I mean, you were the all-time or the single-season sack record in college?
All-time,
right?
I tied Derek Thomas.
All-time, you're sort of the in-betweener guy. There's not really, you're not definitely a D line or a D end. You're not a definite, linebacker. Physically, there's probably more talented guys. That's not a knock on you. But mentally, there's nobody smarter on the football field, and we had a lot of smart guys.
You've said that without his presence. You have said that.
We had a lot of smart guys on that football team that could think fast and take what we did in practice and perform quickly in different situations out on the football field in those critical moments, right?
Yeah, and so I had to find a way to keep myself on the team because I couldn't play linebacker. I didn't know how to do it, and I was definitely too small to do what Willie McGinnis was doing or what Chris Slade was doing at their outside linebacker / defensive end position. So, I mean, I had to learn to be a contributor on special teams. Right. And then still, I mean, Al Groh was a defensive coordinator there, and I was still being able to rush the passer. Like I had to do it from inside from the defensive tackle position. And that's when they started making a cactus package because cactus, and I went to Arizona, so they named it Cactus. And I was there being that floater defensive lineman that sort of bounced around and ran games, or I could drop in coverage. So they found for me to do that, and then also play special teams while I figured out how to play off the ball linebacker. And literally, it took me 2 to 3 years to learn, but to keep myself on the team, I was like, all right, like that. I was like, I think like, all right, I still got to prove my worth. Kickoff return, punt return, all of that other stuff I had to do well.
Were you fluctuating in weight during all that? Did you always play around the same size, or could you go up 20 pounds if you're going to do something different? Did you change your body at all?
Yeah, no, the only time I really changed it in the league was when I started to get older and I started to lose a little bit. I was like, maybe a little 5 pounds, I can add a little quickness because I'm losing my quickness up around my, 11th, 12th, 13th year. That's the only time. I mean, my training camp year, I came in, 240-ish around there. And I had never been through a real NFL training camp with Bill Parcells. And I started dropping like 10 to 15, close to 20 pounds. And that's when I had to realize I had to put it back on.
Yeah.
So
that's what I need.
I
need.
Can you tell him how to lose 15 pounds real quick?
One quick training camp.
Go back to the 90s. Yeah. Go back to the 90s.
Go to Bryant University.
Back then.
Yeah, do 40 days with Bill Parcells. I got it. Perfect.
Go into a dorm room with no air conditioning
and just
in the middle of August and go run your head into the wall.
Perfect. I love that. I've got a good one. And this just came to me, and we haven't asked any of the football guys this yet. And it might be different, when you went to college compared to now. It definitely has changed because of NIL and everything with likeness. What did you disregard contracts? College football compared to pro football. What did you have more fun doing? You know what I mean? Was it fun to play more fun to play college football, or more fun to play in the pros?
Well, I'm going to say it was more fun to play in the pros. And I say that because of, I guess, our locker rooms were just so much fun. I mean, Kope was a big part of that. Him and his epic backgammon games with Brady and all that stuff. But we had so many guys that got along so well, which is probably why we did so well, that they just brought in the right people. And it was so fun giving each other shit all the times we did that. I mean, if you watch any of the Man in the Arena episodes with Brady, you'll see those early years and how close all of us were. I mean, it was a lot of fun doing that. And then also winning at the same time. I think that was a much more fun experience for me. I mean, college is what it was. Yeah. Did I have a great time? Sure. But the success and the guys and the camaraderie that I still have with all my boys like Kope, I mean, it's just lasting.
Well, yeah, I'm looking in the background.
It's kind of hard to replicate that over the length of time that we did.
Because it's longer, right? I mean, college is 3 years, 4 years.
That was 9 years with Brew, or 8 years before he retired. 9 years with Tommy. And even now, unbelievably, Tommy's still fucking playing, which is just crazy. I mean, the Man of the Arena stuff, I had to stop, Teddy. I couldn't watch the 07. I can't bring myself to go back and do that yet. You were in it. I'm sort of pissed I wasn't asked.
I'm surprised you were not in it.
Why the hell wasn't I asked to be like, the guy touches my ass for 9 years straight. The least you could do is say, hey, you want to go talk about how soft my hands were? Hey, I'll tell him, you got soft hands, bud. I'll give you all the compliments in the world. What the hell?
Yeah. I mean, I had to do the inside the arena, the post sort of show that we did with Field Yates. And I had to see everyone. And it was like Tom said at the beginning episode, I mean, this is going to be therapy for him. And it's just brutal watching it. Yeah. And then I had to be part of the interview with Justin Tuck after that. And it's like the one guys that got us, it was just, it's tough to watch.
Yeah, you know what's funny about
does a good job with it, but geez.
How about Tuck? Their NASCAR package was basically the Cactus package, correct?
Yeah.
You know what
similar.
I mean? They would put those DMs down.
I'm saying it's like throwing through a forest out there.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys were so big and long, and they get their arms up and strays coming at you. It's just, every time I think about it, man.
I know the wound's still open. I still can't watch that episode. And I remember Scarnecchia, who is one of the greatest coaches of all time, whether you're a head coach or assistant coach. He brought us in that offseason, and the first day of OTAs, he put on the film. And we all knew he was going to do it. Oh, yeah, we watched it. It was It was.
I didn't know that.
It was probably the second worst day of my life.
That team was so fucking good. It was,
we were good.
As a just as a fan watching that whole season, it was just you could be as arrogant and as cocky and whatever you wanted to do as a fan because it was just beat down after beat down.
All right, we can.
So.
Yeah, I work with Moss now, on Sunday Countdown, and it's him and I will still, whenever it's brought up, we look at each other across the table and are like, fuck.
Yeah. No, it just
he never got a
great
ring
on TV too.
He never got a ring, right?
Never got a ring.
Which is
Junior never got a ring. That was one of the most disappointing parts of that season.
Well, there was
not getting those guys rings.
There was that little run.
Welker never got a ring.
Exactly. Like there was all these great
Megan's
players.
never got a ring.
Yeah, there was all these great players that were in that middle of the dynasty that like. You're like, how does that person not have one? Like Moss is a good example.
Yeah.
How does Rob Moss not have a ring there?
Yeah, no doubt.
We all wanted it.
We all wanted it.
Yeah, you did want it.
I mean, you have to win the last one. That's all that matters.
true.
And that's
true.
the way our locker room worked.
Yeah, I asked the college question.
I'm working with Mike Ditka, right? Back in the day when Ditka worked for ESPN, and ESPN did a champions show of every analyst was up on a panel that had won a Super Bowl before, and so I won my ring, and then Ditka has his ring on, and I said, "Hey, coach, can I see yours?" And I look at his, and on his it says 18-1. And I said, Coach, you and I have an entirely different perspective on 18-1.
Yeah. We got that other ring that nobody looks at for the runner-up. Oh,
you need to lose the first game of that season, though, and then you just would have forgotten.
100%.
Yeah, lose the first game of that year, and then you would have just killed.
100%. Let's talk about the celebration, because that was all you. And how do we feel? How do we feel about... And you see Slater doing it now, and it's on all the clips on Patriots.com or their social media. Where did that come from? Actually, because I actually don't even know.
Yeah, well, it was 2003 season, and it was in training camp. You know how we all mess around in training camp, and I had messed around and just said it like during the stretch line. I was like, "Oh yeah," and we were talking about something. I got fired up, and guys sort of looked at me and was like, "Man, that was pretty cool." So we end up losing to Buffalo, 31-0 that first week.
My first game.
The next week. Yeah.
Yep. And then, welcome to the NFL. There you go.
Yeah. We went to Philly and got our butts, and we ended up beating them.
Yep.
And then Antoine Smith says, "Hey Teddy, do that thing you did in the stretch line." Oh yeah. I was like, oh man, how do I get all these guys to do that? And I was like, all right, let me ask you a question. And then so sort of explained it at first, and then that was really the start of it. And then it just week after week was brew, what do you got? What do you got? Yeah. So it was weird because then like we won a lot. And so it'd be the middle of the fourth quarter and the game's not over yet. And I'm like, damn, what do I ask the guys?
When you were thinking that, I was like, where am I going to get my beer afterwards? I know where I'm going to get it. I just can't wait to get it.
By the way, good feeling to have. People talk about like, quarter. I remember there was some stat like last year, Brady had never had like a, it was a Hail Mary touchdown pass to win a game. It's like, yeah, because half the time when you guys were together, you were taking a knee. Like he wasn't in the last series of the game. So
you know what? That's not true. And I think Teddy, like 03, 04.
No, those seasons, no.
Those were close games. And my parents would come up to the games or whatever. Like those were close games where we had to make a play in the fourth quarter. And it was the guys that they just went out and made the play to win the game.
There was a lot of years of beatdowns, though. A lot of years of beats down.
That was 07.
And truthfully, even the 07 year, I think there were 3 games. I mean, we were down in the fourth quarter, went to the Colts,
Ravens,
to the Cowboys,
Ravens,
Eagles.
And Ravens.
Yeah, Eagles and Ravens. Those were all close ones, surprisingly. So, yeah, there were a lot of close
More
ones.
often than not, though, you could, in the fourth quarter, you could think about where you were going to have a beer or what you were going to say.
Yeah.
That's a good feeling.
But on the how do you feel? Tommy took that over after you retired. It wasn't as good. It was awful.
He's got no rhythm.
He's got no rhythm. He's got no imagination. It's just like, he kind of looked like his combine picture doing the how do you feel after a game? It just didn't fit.
Yeah, and then Slater took it over, and he does a more of an intellectual approach. I mean, he'll like really say something inspirational, and it's like, how do you feel about?
Got to put his glasses on first.
Yeah, exactly. Glasses on. I asked the college question because I'm looking behind you. I mean, it's all Arizona stuff. right? That's why I was like, I mean, where's the allegiance here? Like, that's a lot of Arizona background there. So, that's why I said, did you have more fun there, maybe? Because I don't see like a Pats helmet up there, or, whoever had a replica Super Bowl trophy. Well, we're not even supposed to say that. That's on the other side. He's got it on the other side. Okay.
Over there right now, but so it's recruiting season now in college football, and I am a part of Jed Fish's staff.
That's right.
Yes, you are.
So that's what's going on.
You are. I don't know how you did it or how you got it, but you are a part of the staff.
Yeah. So it's nice to have the A in the background. I'm talking to kids and doing certain things via Zoom, which is I get to bear down Arizona a lot. So those are my helmets.
Is the spring game against Gronk again this year?
Oof, I don't know if we can get Gronk out there again. I don't know if he can beat what he did last year and catching the world record of dropping the ball out of the helicopter.
Yeah.
And
that could have killed him.
Wherever that guy goes, it's exciting.
That is true.
He's like a giant, just teddy bear meatball football player.
It's just kid. He's a giant 9-year-old.
The nicest guy in the world.
USAA commercials as much as I do.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh,
yep.
He is so good. It cracks me up every time I see it.
Yeah. Favorite game? All right, so I have we've won a lot of big football games, but I don't remember a lot of them, especially regular season games. But there is one after you came back from the stroke in 2005 against the Bills. I will never forget running out on the field that day and you coming back. I want to hear it from your perspective.
Yeah, I was there was a lot of stuff going through my head there. First of all, I mean, the crowd and coming out, and it was incredible to hear all the noise and feel the energy and the love from everyone. That was probably my regular season sort of memory in terms of coming back. That one, it was something that, I'll never forget for as long as I live, but because of everything I went through to come back. But definitely, I mean, Heidi was in the stands. She gave me the 3-second rule before I went into that game and the rest of that season. She's like, hey, if you are on the ground for more than 3 seconds, I'm coming out of the stands and taking you out.
No.
Yeah.
That was the complete opposite of what you did. And I tell people this all the time. If we're going to like a youth hockey game or something and a kid stays down, I never understood it because you always stayed down for like a minute. And then you popped up and you ran off the field. It's like, you can't do that to people thinking like, oh, he's really injured.
He's down.
Yeah, and then he jumps up smiling and just runs off the field. You can't do that. You did it all the time.
I did. Sometimes you just got to take inventory a little bit. I don't know. I just take a break. I feel comfortable. I like just laying here for a second and then just.
It's like
it was his MO.
In Jerry Maguire, when he gets knocked out in the end zone, he's like, let me just take this in for a minute.
Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it was.
But I remember, so we, in the 2004 Super Bowl in Jacksonville, you remember Paxton? Not that you don't remember, but Paxton went up to Brady. He's like, hey, me and Kope want to come because if we win the Super Bowl, Kraft, you made the Pro Bowl that year. Kraft flies everybody from Boston to the Pro Bowl on a private jet.
This one was in Hawaii, too.
So Paxton goes up to Brady. He's like, hey, Kope and I want to go to the Pro Bowl. Can you get it done? He's like, well, let's just win the game first, and then we'll go from there. He's like, fair enough. So Brady gets on the podium after we win the game, and Paxton's over on the side next to the podium, and I'm down there, and he calls Paxton and me over. He's like, hey, I just talked to Kraft. You guys are all set. We're on the private jet. We're going out we're not playing in the game. We're just going out to have a good time.
Yep.
Teddy was on the flight. Bill was on the flight out to L.A. Remember that? And we that was after the parade we left. It was a lot of Jack and Cokes.
Wow, what a week.
It was. That plane was huge too, wasn't it? It was a big private plane, if I remember.
To L.A. was a big private. They had a queen size bed on that plane. And then you thought it was going to be awkward with Bill coming on the flight. It really wasn't because most of us were smashed from the parade. And then we we landed in L.A. Do you remember what was waiting on the tarmac?
No.
In-N-Out Burger.
Oh my God.
And we switched planes, but we had In-N-Out ordered to the tarmac, and then we finished the flight to Hawaii.
That's a good trip.
Had a great time. And then unfortunately, Teddy comes back from the Pro Bowl, and that's when he suffered his stroke right at the end of that. And you didn't know if you were going to play again.
I know. I didn't think it was possible. I mean, I thought only old people had strokes and stuff like that. So, had to jump through a lot of hoops. I mean, see a lot of doctors to see if it was possible. But man, and try convincing your wife that, I had a stroke. Right. I had a procedure on my house. My heart's doing fine, and I want to play again, honey. Yeah, let's go.
I mean, so many variables that had to go right for that. To even just live a normal life is the first one, and then you're like, no, I'm going to go back and play in the NFL again. That's why the noise. I remember it's
an amazing story.
This was when he came back. I remember this. This was I had just got drafted, and I was in Portland, Maine, and I was back from playing the season with all my buddies without jobs, right? Because we're going back to spring training.
Yep.
And we just watched all the games and went out and drank beers and everything. And I remember that one specifically. That was
one of my favorite games of all time. I will never forget coming into that stadium in your return. That atmosphere. Some playoff games, maybe like big ones at the end, but going into that game, that place was just on fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, we wanted to get back so badly too, so fast. I know I took the first, 6 games. I started on the PUP or something like that. Listen, when I came back, we were still competitive, and we were just coming off. Those back-to-back championships. Mm-hmm. And I remember being in the locker room at the Pro Bowl and Tom saying no one's ever won 3 in a row.
Right.
And so we still had some things we wanted to accomplish. I know we ended up, going to Denver and losing in the playoffs that year, right?
Yeah. A couple, I blew my shoulder out in November, and then that was the Ben Watson game, right, where he chased down champ in, it would have been 06, but 05 season. And we lost to Denver. You're right. Yeah. And then we didn't finish the job in 06, and obviously 07. We know about that.
Right. The 06. That's people talk about Super Bowl losses. The 07 was pretty brutal. But I think when you lose a championship game, it's just that much worse because you didn't even get the chance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think certain people don't have that perspective because you didn't win one and also lose one. Through what I did, I don't know if you ever lost in the wild card round, Kope, but I've lost in every single round.
Yeah.
And that the championship round is just so hard to take because you're just on the cusp of being an AFC/NFC champion. So that was tough losing to Peyton that year.
So you would rather go to the Super Bowl and lose?
I would.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
You got to imagine the 2 weeks leading up is a great time. It's still a great. It hurts to lose, obviously.
You get to play again, right. All right, let's put it this way: for me, I'm not even going to answer the question because I hate when people do that, especially broadcasters. Have the Super Bowls sunk in yet? Do you really understand how big that is, or how impressive of an accomplishment that is?
Yeah. What's the percentage of people? In the world,
just
right?
Winning that game and taking it all in afterwards. Do you think it's really sunk in what that is?
Yeah, I think that it takes some time. It takes some time. And I think the perspective I've got of covering these guys and seeing, every year that someone losing and someone winning. And I think I truly do understand now. Here I am 13 years out, how special those teams were, because seeing all of the teams since that are trying to accomplish things and seeing, the utter devastation when you don't, and we can relate when you don't get it done. You know what I mean? And so, having that perspective now is something I think it really has sunk into how, special, that's how special we were in terms of also, Brady's going for back-to-back again, but it hasn't been done since our team.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Crazy.
I can't believe he's still playing.
Yeah,
I can't believe it, but it just doesn't make sense.
So you're up in New England still, right? Your primary residence is up in the cold. Did you expect that? Did you expect that you'd stay
retired. Here? Yeah, I retired, and then ESPN called pretty soon after I retired, and I was
an hour after you retired. Yeah. An hour,
probably.
Yeah,
so that got it. So that makes more sense because I just assume a lot of us are up here because our significant others are from here. I think Dan and I have 6 or 8 friends, and we're all here because our wives are from this area, or we might be, in West Palm playing golf
It's
more often.
in the marriage license in Rhode Island. If you get married, you have
in
to
Rhode
stay.
Island, you have to stay here because all the guys are not from here and all the girls are. But it's surprise. I wasn't sure if it's. I guess the ESPN piece is a big part of it, but also I just wondered if the community, like New England community, you're like, how am I going to leave this? This was an amazing 12 years, 13 years, right? Like that's why you didn't go somewhere else.
Yeah, Tip. I mean, it's also, you get to play 13 years, and then, I got hired by ESPN, and of course the community is a big factor, but it's like all of a sudden your kids start becoming ingrained in the community also.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, they're 7th grade, 8th grade in the high school. It's like, I've raised 3 New Englanders. And it's like they're huge Patriots fans. They've got the Mac Jones jerseys now. And so now it's like, I know they're here. So I've got one more that's a junior in high school, and he's almost done. But 2 out of the house going to college. And then, you reassess things is when you become an empty nester, I guess.
I can't believe his kids are in college, and one is that close. TJ, Rex, and Dante. Like Dante was just born. It's just like just mind blowing.
And as you raise them, they're just drinking Dunkin' Donuts and swearing at people. That's
if you're lucky.
That's what happens. They just got Dunkin' going through their veins.
All right, great transition to Mac Jones. What the fuck happened?
Bro, that was
he was all right.
Epic proportions.
It
wasn't. I don't really look to Mac, but I look to how. I don't know what happened defensively. They looked like they were in mud, stuck in mud. Josh Allen had one of those games where he looked like he was just unstoppable. I don't think I've seen it as an analyst, especially every drive ending in a touchdown like that. And I know all of New England is like, hey, man, we need more speed. We need linebackers. We need pass rush. It's like, well, you can't do it all. You can't go out and spend $160 million, whatever they did, every single year. But that they got to approach the off season now, and with that sort of thing in their head about, okay, how do we stop Buffalo and how do we beat Josh Allen? Mm-hmm. Because that's the type of beating that really puts that into your brain about how to fix things.
Yeah.
Are you a we or a they guy? We meaning when I talk about the Patriots, I say we because I was a part of the organization, or I've been retired for 13 years. They're a they now.
Yeah, I've strayed over to the they, but then even when I don't really mind letting people know I am a Patriot still. Like when we were in Foxborough for the Buccaneers and Patriots game, and they wanted me to pick it. And I said, you know what? I'm not only going to pick it, but have my red jacket ready. The Patriots Hall of Fame red jacket, because I'm going to put it on.
Yeah.
And hey, Tom, I love you, but I am a Patriot, and I am picking the Patriots right here in Gillette Stadium. I don't mind doing that either. Mm-hmm. Michael Irvin really embraces the Cowboys a lot more than, passionately.
He loves Bill. He loves Bill.
He does, but I feel the same way, and I'm not ashamed to be like, you all know who I played for, and that's the only team I played for, man. Yeah. So don't trust my pick, okay? Right. Because did a part of me think that it was going to be extremely difficult for the Patriots to beat the Bills up in Orchard Park on the playoffs? I did. But I still think they can get it done. And I picked them, and I'm not ashamed of it.
That's exactly how I gamble. It's all with the heart. Baby.
Your heart.
It's all with the heart.
So just let the viewers know, or the listeners know, on a Patriots game, you really can't take his advice all the time. Sometimes you can. But there's a heart still there too.
That was
That's
tough
why
one.
I couldn't take Buffalo last week.
No, I know, and I'm in your camp on this too.
Because it's possible they can still get it done. They do that, and every time you doubt them, they come back. It seems and prove you're wrong.
Well, and if you're a betting man, right, then if you have been betting against Belichick or Brady or any time, then you have been losing for a long time, right?
Right.
So that's why it's tough to do. It's tough to do.
I'm a huge Mac Jones fan. It was similar to Brady's first year as a starter. I mean, Brady had to be carried early on. I mean, that first Super Bowl in 2001, he was only responsible for 2 touchdowns in all 3 playoff games. I mean, it was the scramble in the snow versus the Raiders and then the throw to Patton in the Super Bowl. There were multiple defensive/special teams touchdowns, and Drew Bledsoe came in the AFC Championship and threw to Patton in the corner. So, I mean, they didn't have that type of cast and other units to support Mac in that Buffalo Bills game, unfortunately.
What do you think? I mean, I think the quarterback offseason, especially for Mac Jones going into the second year, right? And so mentally, it's always evolving. It's always trying to grow. I would argue his physical progression is probably more important than what he does mentally, because he's already a smart guy. But you take a look at Josh Allen and what he has. I think he's still growing and needs to pack. You know, Tommy didn't look great in 01, you know, when he was a rookie and all that stuff. He looks better now, but, you know, he's still got to mature physically, right?
Yeah. And then, you know, where does Mac decide to take that? I mean, does he need to work on his arm strength a little bit? And talking to Matt Hasselbeck, who's our quarterback on Sunday Countdown, he talks about bringing up the lower body and the core. You know what I mean? To get the whole motion of the end, of sending the football with energy. I mean, getting everything right. So is that how quarterbacks gain arm strength? Because Tom's definitely got stronger from early on to where he is now. And I think Mac is going to look at those things and see where he can improve, and possibly arm strength is one of those. I'd love to see him get a receiver outside to help him out. I mean, I mean, you can't do everything. So where do you pick and choose to help a young quarterback?
You guys were chatting about it before we jumped on, but, you know, say Tampa Bay gets in, you know, and you know, Tom's there in the Super Bowl again. You said you don't like to go, though. You don't like to actually go to the Super Bowl, you know, and experience it. He says the same thing just on a regular game. Like, there's been a few weekends where we were going to go up, you know, to Gillette, and he's like, I like to just be on the couch and watch it. Is that a thing because you played, or is that?
Games, the only regular season games that I've gone to was when the Patriots have asked me to be there.
Yeah, there's one of your teammates getting inducted or something like that.
Yeah, or you know, our anniversary teams or something like that. Yeah. Okay, I'll go. But if not, I'm just not going to go. It's just, that's not being the part of the watching of the game is something I'm just not, you know, excited about. I mean, I think I can see it better possibly on TV. And then, of course, I'm looking at it now from the analyst perspective. So definitely something I stay away from too.
And then right when you guys got done playing, I've kind of asked you this before, but do you go through this, you know, like right away, like all of a sudden your first training camp comes there after you're retired, right? Or the first season comes up after you're retired. Do you just feel so much like getting back into it? Or are you on the other side? I think you've said this. You're like, whew, feels good to be done. You know what I mean? Like, you don't, there's certain things you definitely miss. But what was your perspective on that? Were you just like, hey, that was a great run and I'm pretty comfortable sitting on my couch right now?
Yeah. Well, jumping in, working for ESPN immediately, I mean, that's a hard transition to immediately become critical of players that, I mean, you've been playing with or you played against, and all of a sudden you're on the other side. Because we in the locker room, the media is, I don't want to say the enemy, but it's like, those are the guys you don't trust. Okay. So it's like, be careful what you say to those guys. All right. They're always out to get you. You mess up a little bit and all of a sudden, boom, you got something that you got to explain. So that's the way it's sort of, I mean, even throughout the league, you can see everyone's guarded in their press conferences. So when you get out of it, it's sort of a different, like, oh my gosh, now I gotta, what do you mean I have to say something? You know? So
I just know cliches. All I know is cliches.
Yeah, you guys are cliche kings.
I just know cliches. That's
the cliche kings. That's a good shirt. We should print those up.
So then I get around the team. It's like, oh, do they remember what I said about them? It's like, oof, I thought that was a tough loss, and I got on them a little bit. So there's a little bit of uncomfortableness at first, but I mean, over the course of time, I've just learned that Bill taught me to do a job. You know what I mean? Playing football. And now I got another job, man. You're not paying me anymore. I got another job that I got to do. And I just respect that you understand that.
Would you rather finish a marathon or win a Super Bowl? But what, I mean, Oh, fuck it. Who cares? Marathons are hard. What the hell were you thinking?
Finished a marathon once or twice?
I mean,
you finished it twice.
Seriously,
right?
when you were doing it and like you say, I'm going to run a marathon, I just thought you were batshit crazy.
Yeah, no, man. I did it 3 times. Actually, I did
3 times. That is freaking amazing.
I should match the Super Bowls. 3 Super Bowls, 3 Boston marathons, and I don't know. I was crazy.
Was it fun? Or I mean, just was it? I don't get it.
I did get into the running thing. I enjoyed running. It was a different competitive thing for yourself. You're not competing against anyone. You're competing against yourself. And from my first marathon time to my third, I almost proved in time by close to an hour. So that was exciting for me. I mean, I started Tedy's team, which is a group of runners that runs the Boston Marathon, and they raise funds for my foundation, which benefits stroke research and awareness. So that's a different sort of thing. Everybody on the team would ask me, "Hey, Tedy, when are you running? When are you running?" But I was still playing. And the line was, I only train for 8-second bursts, not like 5 hours of running. But I couldn't use that anymore when I retired. So I had to put my money where my mouth is. And I finally got out there.
Yeah, we can go out and play golf and compete that way too. I mean, you don't have to run 26.2 miles.
That's right. I like the quote, and I think it's Eastbound and Down. He's like, I play real sports. I'm not trying to be the best at exercising. So, and you did, but then you went to say, hey, I'm going to exercise too. So we do have to get him golfing because
we come down he's a former member at Wannamoisa. He knows
I know.
By the way, you should see the renovations going on there. They're redoing the whole thing, nice. Man.
Yeah, place is pure anyway, but now it's like absolutely going to be incredible.
All right, the tab's on you, Kope, when we go out there this summer. So
that's fine. You give me strokes. You can come in anytime you want.
Okay, buddy.
You're sneaky.
I have one more thing that I see a lot. Okay,
what?
And
his jersey on your wife?
Well, that happens. Yeah, only jersey she has is yours. All right, but here's the part about it. I see, most popular jersey. It's usually a current player all the time, right? It makes sense. You go to Gillette. You just walk around the mall in Rhode Island right now. Yours, out of players that are not playing anymore, I would say is the most popular. Brady, you still have lots of Bradys. You're still playing. It's really fresh. Yeah. You've been done for a while. Yours is all over the place still. That's a big testament to him.
Yeah, mine was never there.
I've never seen yours. I've never seen a Kope one. There are Bruschi jerseys all over the place, and they're all beat up now. It's
true.
And the numbers are kind of all faded off of them. But when you go to a tailgate or when you go to your friend's house and there's 10 people there, there's a Bruschi jersey there. So
I always felt, even when I was playing, that's almost the most flattering compliment you could ever get as a player, is when someone puts your jersey on and your name's on their back. Mm-hmm. I always try to still represent myself on TV as a New England Patriot, and I'm not ashamed of it. Even this year, I've worn my first championship ring on set, if you watch, more than ever before, because I feel like that's who I represent. And the Super Bowl rings are like Kope's in there. All the fellas are in there. The organization, those years you represent. And that's like my football upbringing and like my football family. So that's who I represent on that screen. And I hope people still see that I haven't changed to a TV personality. That's just the old linebacker talking football. So They wear the jersey, and believe me, it's super cool to still see it.
Yeah.
Brother,
the fandom is in New England deep with this guy. No question.
What he did for the New England Patriots and what he did in his career is just awesome. And especially on that team as a leader, us lower class guys, lower rent district, linemen, all that. We'd follow that guy. And how about, I mean, we could talk for 2 hours, but I'm not even joking. I could sit at my locker and look in the corner at you, Vrabel, and Izzo and just go after each other for hours and hours. That was just the memories I have of those guys.
Yeah.
Just ball busting each other nonstop will never go away.
Yeah, and that's why the answer, man, the NFL was more fun than college for me, because of guys like that. Kope, I mean, you were right there with us all the time. I mean, McGinnis was in there, a lot of guys, just always giving each other, we'd give each other grief, but also in a sort of jovial way, we pushed each other by calling each other out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was almost like the professional version of getting in somebody's face when you also respect someone tremendously, but I'm still joking with you, man. But really seriously, I mean, it's about winning, right? Are you with us?
Yeah.
So
love that.
We really found the right balance of friendship and confrontation.
It doesn't seem like the prankster, though.
No. Well, no. He wasn't the prankster. The light was the prankster. There's no way. Yeah. But he would be involved in the aftermath.
Got it. I was going to say more like the older brother.
Just to rev things up a little bit, he'd throw a comment
there it
in
is.
or
Yeah,
something.
it's the older brother.
He'd be throwing gas on the fire.
Yeah, it's, hey, be smart, guys. But by the way, use this information against somebody.
How about last one for me? Would you rather fight Steve Neal or Willie McGinnis? Because which one are you more afraid of? Which one are you more afraid of?
You can answer neither. You can answer neither.
Fight Steve Neal, because Steve Neal, to kick my ass, he's going to wrestle me. Okay. Mm-hmm. McGinnis would just pummel my face with his fists. Okay? And he had a reach. It was like poof.
Yeah, I know. Poof, but if Steve gets you on the ground, you're dead.
And Neil would grapple you, like get you like this and all the wrestling things. So I'll choose Steve Neal.
Dan has said
it would keep the moneymaker fresh.
Yeah, Dan has said that Steve Neal's the toughest guy that you know, right?
Steve Neal would you don't Willie too. I mean, Willie was that locker room, and I wouldn't fuck with Willie either.
Non-Patriot that you played against. Who's the toughest guy that you know? So non-Patriot though, go outside the locker room on this one. Toughest guy in the field, toughest competitor. You know, just the meanest monster out there.
Oof, man. Oh, wow. That's a tough one. You know who I thought it was just incredibly difficult always to go up against? A couple guys, but I don't know about toughness and just sort of mean and stuff. I thought Curtis Martin, Hall of Fame running back, who actually was a former teammate of mine, was actually extremely difficult to go up against when he went from the Patriots to the Bills. Of course, probably the best quarterback was Peyton Manning, and always going up against him intellectually. A couple of opponents like that sort of stand out. I would say the running back that was just bludgeoning was the Jacobs kid from New York.
Yeah.
I mean, like 6'3", 265 pounds. Yep. Blasted me once in the Super Bowl. It was like always kneecaps trying to tackle that guy because he was a strong runner, and I guess it hurts still thinking about that 2007 game. And then him and Ahmad Bradshaw, two of the toughest, nastiest tandem of runners that probably I had seen.
Yeah, and you said Zach Thomas too, right?
Zach Thomas, another one downhill for me.
Yeah,
it was kind of like Ted Johnson, in practice. It was like hard head in a box, and he's just coming straight at you.
His head did look like a Lego man.
I always found, because you talk about like linebackers and tough linebackers, like Ray Lewis was in this kind of, he's such a tough. I didn't think Ray Lewis was like a tough guy. He was a guy that would prefer to go around you. Mm-hmm. Zach Thomas wanted to go through you.
Yeah.
He was one of those old school linebackers. And every time we played the Dolphins, like, God, this is going to hurt. Mm.
Yeah, Zach was great. And you bring up Ted. Ted was the most physical linebacker I played with. The old story of when he took on Jamie Nails, the guard of the Miami Dolphins, and split his helmet in half. And the helmet just fell off his head.
Actually split
the helmet fell off his head.
He actually split the helmet in half and it fell off.
That's a cartoon. That's unbelievable.
Hey, that was the most amazing thing I'd ever seen. Because it was cold enough to where maybe, I don't know, was the helmet like brittle? But wow. And it literally fell off. And I was right here on the sideline and I saw it. I'm like, no, he didn't. No, he didn't. It was crazy.
Incredible. Here's another one. Izzo on the sideline of Atlanta. That might be the most. Oh, come on. Tell me you remember. We were
number two.
Number two. Number two. We were in Atlanta. I think it was either preseason or regular season. It might have been preseason. I don't even know. We're in Atlanta, and Izzo is a Pro Bowler every year, in and out on special teams. So, and he was a fill-in linebacker, and he did a great job. That's one of the reasons he stuck around so long too, is he could do more than one thing. But his main deal was special teams, and special teams punt team was coming up or something. He had to take a shit bad, and he to his credit, he didn't leave the field he had a few equipment guys just standing around him next to a freaking trash can.
Just dumped
on the
towel.
On the yeah.
Hold the
towels up and just took a dump right in the trash can on the sideline.
Everybody's got a story.
One of the most phenomenal things I've ever seen from a teammate.
Everybody has a story of where they've taken a dump and it wasn't in a toilet.
just there's not 60,000 people in the stands looking at you.
That's true. That's true.
But hey, brother, thank you so much for taking the time. Everybody, check out Tedy's team on Instagram, social, the website, raising money and awareness for stroke survivors.
Well, and watch him on the best show that's
guys.
on.
Great to talk to you, Kope. I love you, buddy.
All right, love you too, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Later.
Thanks, guys.
See you, bud.
See ya.
Past Our Prime is brought to you by Squad Locker. Squad Locker is your one-stop shop for custom team apparel, delivered right to your front door. Learn more by visiting squadlocker.com.